Hey guys, Gary here from RV Living Life. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to tell you why we have two inverters. The main difference between two inverters and one is with two inverters, you can have split phase. I'm not going to go into depth as to what the differences is between split phase and parallel in this video. I'm just going to show you the statistics of power. How much power you get from 30 amp parallel, which is a 30 amp post you plug in, or 50 amp parallel when you plug into a 50 amp post, or if you have two inverters, what the amount of power that you can get from 50 amp split phase. You're basically doubling your power, and today I'm going to show that to you. And you could be quite surprised as to how much better it is to have two inverters than one. So anyway, let's get into it. We're going to start out with 30 amp parallel. Okay, now I'm running on 30 amp setting, set for 30 amps parallel and 33 amps from shore. You can generally take 33 amps, 10% more than what the breaker will allow. So I'm going to go outside and turn the power back on. Okay, breaker's back on. Now we're back to charging the batteries. So I have it set, each inverter to charge the batteries at 30 amp, I believe. So we're only getting 70 amps of charging total. Okay, we got one AC on, should come up now. Here it comes. So it's drawing about 1600 watts. That AC is on. So we're putting 960 into the batteries and the AC is using 1600 watts. We're taking 2400 from shore. I'll turn another air conditioner on. Now here's the second air conditioner coming on. Starting up slowly at first. You know, all of our air conditioners have soft starts on them. So we're still putting 1000 into the batteries. We're taking 2800 from shore now. Okay, so now we're drawing two AC units. We're drawing from the batteries 500 watts. We've got a little bit of solar coming in, so that's helping. Okay, now I'm going to turn on a third air conditioner. Okay, third AC should be coming on shortly. So now our AC loads are around 3100 watts. Climbing now, this rear AC is coming on. Okay, we're taking 3000 from the batteries now. So our shore power has dropped right down to only 1600 coming from shore. Not exactly sure why that is. I'd rather take about 3000 from shore. But when I turn the, set the power, max power from the pole at 33 amps, this is how it goes with 3 ACs on. So I'm going to turn on the coffee pot now. Okay, that's taking another 1000 watts or so. Now that's coming directly from shore. It did not increase what's coming from the batteries. Put the toaster on now. Okay, now we're drawing more. Okay, we're going up to 3400 on shore. We should be able to go to 3600. Okay, it lowered the shore power down a bit. We're still taking 3300 from the batteries, about 3200. So I'm taking 5000 watts of loads here, 5300 in loads. So I'm going to turn on the fireplace now. It's an electric fireplace. It takes about 1500 watts. Okay, that's coming on now. Okay, now we're taking 7000 watts and 582 amps from the batteries. So we can still do this. You can see the shore power is down to 1300. We could probably do this for, until the batteries go dead. without any issues. But you can see how we're using a lot of battery power. Once we went past one air conditioner, we're using battery power. You could fine tune it or tweak it to get it to only take two. I'm sorry, you could run 2 air conditioners on shore power, and then after that it would go to, you know, assisting. But now I'm going to start cutting back the power I'm taking. Shut off the fireplace. Okay, so I shut off all the air conditioners. I'm shutting off the coffee pot. The toaster. And now we're back to charging the batteries at 70 amps, which is about the max I have it set. I could set the inverters to charge 120 amps each, which would be charge the batteries at 240 amps. But you know, if you want your batteries to last long, you don't charge them too quickly. And now that we're on parallel, I can go out and just switch from the 30 amp plug to the 50 amp plug without any real issues, because I've set up my wiring in parallel and I can run 30 or 50, just like most other coaches are set up. So I'm going to go switch this over to 50 amp right now. Okay, so now we're plugged into the 50 amp plug outside. I know it doesn't look any different in here, but that's what we're at. So I'm going to go into my menu, my Multiplus. You can see we were at the input current limit, the amount that we take from the pole or the pedestal at 33. I'm going to raise that right up to 50. Now I could probably go to 50 or 55, you know. You can always add that 10%. Okay, 50. Says 33, there we go, we're at 50 now. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and turn on all the ACs again, and you'll see how much more power you get with 50. Okay, so I just turned on all 3 air conditioners at once here. We can watch it start up and go. So as it goes, you can see that the loads are building, the shore power drawing is coming. We're assisting as they start up because I'm starting 3 at once. Now we're going back to bulk charging for the batteries. So the assist right there prevented the breaker from kicking out. We're assisting again as they come on. And this is really only because I'm starting all 3 at once. If I started them one at a time, we wouldn't be assisting. But then again, this is 50 amp parallel where you don't get as much power as you'd like. Okay, I'm going to try turning one AC off. Okay, one AC is off, so we should see the load drop. Takes a moment. Of course, the load is in the green box in the top right. I think the water heater is on too. I forgot to shut that off, so I will do that. Okay, the load is still 3390, so I'm going to go back to shutting off another AC. Now this is sort of like if the ACs were oscillating on and off, you know, you would go down to 1 AC every now and then it would reverse, it'd go back to charging. So you can see we're bulk charging now. Putting 71 amps into the batteries again. We're taking 2,700 from shore, and we have 1,900 in loads. I'm going to turn one air conditioner on again. There we go. Bringing it up slowly. So our loads now are 3,200 watts. We're taking 4,000 from shore, and we're still charging the batteries at 70 amps. So if you were to run 2 ACs, you know, this would be no problem, you know, on 50 amps. You could even run 3 ACs on 50 amps. I believe the fact that I just took so much power at once that it went into assist mode. So I'm going to turn the third AC on now. Okay, it should come online momentarily. We're still taking about 4,000 from shore. Okay, it's slowly starting up. You should see the AC load start to climb here a bit. Still charging the batteries at 72 amps. Wanders up and down around 70 amps. Okay, the third AC is coming online now. You can hear the fan going anyway. Oh, there's the compressor just kicked in. Okay, so with 3 ACs, we are drawing from the batteries. About 1,000 watts in the batteries. So I'm going to go into the menu here, and we are assisting, and I'm going to set it at like 55. You can usually take about 10% more from the pole without any issues. Wait, there, it's 55 now. Okay. So I have to turn one AC off to get it back down where it'll stop assisting. Okay, I turned off one AC. There we go. So now we're back to charging the batteries. We have 2 ACs going. Everything's great. Got some solar coming in, about 340 watts. We only have 850 watts of solar on the roof, but it's not a really sunny day. It's kind of hazy, so we're not getting full power from the solar. Okay, so we have 2 ACs going here. I'm going to turn the third one back on again and see if it goes back into assist or not. Okay, it may take a moment to come back online here. So you can see that, you know, when it was set at 50 amps, when the third AC came online, it started assisting, and then as one of the ACs go offline, it starts charging again. And you could do that all day, you know. It would always keep going back to charging and then assisting. But we've raised it to 55 amps coming from the pole. We're waiting on that AC to come on. I had just shut it off, so the soft start does protect it so it doesn't come on too soon after shutting it off. Oh, it's climbing now. The third air conditioner, the compressor's kicking in. It's very slowly coming online. And we're back to assisting. So that's what it's like on parallel with 2 inverters. We are taking 4,500 watts in loads. Probably if our batteries were at 100%, we would probably do this without assisting, but because the batteries are down a bit, it doesn't click into that mode. Okay, now I'm going to shut everything down and I'm going to show you what it's like in split phase. First, I'll shut off the air conditioners. Okay, all three air conditioners are off. It takes a moment for them to actually kick out. Okay, and now we're back to charging the batteries. We're taking 500 watts of loads from something in here. Actually, the fans are still on some of the ACs. They haven't completely shut down yet. There we go. Okay, so I could raise the speed of charging, and as you're taking power, the charge rate would slow down, and then as you're not taking power, the charge rate would increase. But I still like to charge my batteries at a low and reasonable rate, because whenever I'm charging my batteries, I'm plugged into shore power. I'm usually there for at least a day, so what's the rush? Okay, I'll pause this and I'll switch it over to split phase. So what I'm doing here now is I'm switching over from parallel to split phase. To lightly touch on that subject, parallel is one line coming in of 110 to 120 volts, depending on how you want to say it. 50 amp, 120 volts, one line, line one, the red wire in the cable, and all the wiring in your coach runs off of that one line. Split phase, you take advantage of both hot lines coming in. You have the red wire at 50 amps, 120 volts, the black wire at 50 amps, 120 volts. So essentially you have double the power, two lines of 50 amp, 120 volts. And what I'm doing is I'm selecting a pre-configured profile I made for 50 amp shore and 50 amp charge. And that sets each inverter to charge at 50 amps, which will give you about 100 to 110 amps of charging power when you're looking at it. And that's pretty good. My batteries, I can charge them at 400 amps an hour. My system, I can charge up to 240 amps or 280 amps an hour. But all of that is too fast. If you want your batteries to last, you set your charge rate lower, and the slower you charge them, the longer they'll last. I'm usually in a spot where when I plug in for more than a day, and I can easily charge my batteries at a slow rate, and they will become fully charged before I move on. Okay, now when you look at it, you can see there's line 1 and line 2 on everything. So I only have 0 watts coming in on line 2, but I have 721 watts come from shore on line 1. So I have to go flick the switch I wired in out there to switch it over to split phase. Okay, it's going to take a moment for it to come back on. There we go. And now with my hardwired switch, you can see I'm drawing in 700 watts on line 1 and 800 on line 2. So when you're in parallel mode, you have basically one 50 amp line at 120 volts. But when you're in split phase, like true split phase, you actually have two lines coming in at 50 amps each and 120 volts each, which gives you 100 amps of power. But it's actually two separate lines. So now I'm going to start turning on air conditioners. You'll see what the difference is. Okay, I'm turning on all three air conditioners at the same time. We're charging the batteries now at 50 amps each inverter, so you can see it's charging 111 amps down there in the bottom left. You can see in the top right, we're taking 680 watts, 1449 watts. It's climbing as all the air conditioners come online and all the compressors start going. You can see we're taking 3,700 watts from shore power on the top left, 4,200. 4,600 watts from shore. We're still charging the batteries at over 100 amps. I can hear the compressors on the ACs coming on. Now we're taking 6,000 watts from shore. So you can take basically 6,000 watts on each line. Now you can see with 3 ACs going, we're still charging the batteries. And we're doing great here. We're not even taking all the power from shore. I'm going to turn the coffee pot on now. Okay, that takes another 1,000 watts. You can see the shore's at 6,800. Turn the toaster on. Toaster's on now too. Now we're taking 7,600 from shore. Still charging the batteries at 100 amps. Gonna turn the fireplace on. $8,800 from shore and still charging the batteries. Well, 7,900 now, but still, we're taking 8,000 watts from shore. So line 1 in the top left, you can see we're taking 4,900 watts. Line 2, we're taking 3,000. I'm gonna go turn on the dryer. Okay, dryer's running now. Now we're taking 9,000 watts from shore. So this is why I wanted 2 inverters. Because when you're plugged into 50 amp, look at what you can do. We're taking over 9,000 watts from shore power. We could keep going. I don't know what else I can turn on here that would take power. Oh, I could turn the water heater on. Let's do that. Okay, that's on now. So now we're taking, I guess the ACs are oscillating on and off, I don't know. But they should all be going. But anyway, we're taking over 9,000 watts from shore. We're still charging the batteries at 112 amps. You know, it really is the way to go. So if I was to have one inverter, let's say a 5,000 watt Victron, it would be in parallel. You would not see line 1 and line 2. And the reason they do that is because you can just simply switch from 30 amp to 50 amp. You just plug it in, it makes no difference. Oh, my toaster kicked out there. But it really makes no difference in how it works, you know. But if you want the true power, you want split phase and you want 2 inverters. As far as I know, this is the only way to do this kind of power draw. To be able to draw 50 amps, 120 volts on both lines, you need 2 inverters. I don't think there's any inverters that do true split phase through one inverter. But anyway, that is why you want 2 inverters. Gary here from RV Living Life. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, I'd really like to hear them. You know, I'd love to read what you think about this. And, you know, give us a thumbs up and like us, you know, follow us. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care now. Bye.